projectors, if you want to hardwire, you'll connect an HDMI cable to the port here, and then the other end of the cable into your laptop. And then if you want touch control of your laptop, you will plug a USB cable into USB port 1, and then the other side into the USB port on your laptop. The board should automatically switch inputs when you plug in, but if not, then you'll switch inputs to HDMI 2. All right, next we'll go into the whiteboard app. But before we do that, if you go to page 7 on the guide, we'll go into how to bind your Google account to the whiteboard app. This will let you save whiteboard files to and from your Google Drive, and also let you open up Google Docs straight onto your Canvas. So first, you'll need to go to myviewboard.com. There, you'll click Sign In the top right here. And then sign in with Google. Sign in with your district Google account. And then once you're in, logged in, then click on the little person icon at the top here. And then on the left side, go to Cloud Integration. And then make sure this Google Drive is bound. This will probably say bind if it's unbound. All right, and then once you have your Google account bound, you can open up the whiteboard app, which should be at the home screen here. And then the first thing we'll have you do is log in, so then you can access your Google Drive. So you'll tap on the little person in the bottom right here, and then tap on the Google G there. And then you'll enter in your district email and password to log in. And then once you've successfully logged in, go back to the home screen and relaunch the whiteboard app. And if you're logged in, then you should see a little picture in the bottom right, and then your same picture up top left with your email address up there. Next, we'll go into page management. So you can add multiple pages to your whiteboard file. You can do that by adding more pages by tapping the blue Add Page button down here. And then to manage these pages, you can tap on the number to the right, the little page icon here. And then here you can rearrange pages and delete pages that you want to. Next, we'll go into changing backgrounds. For that, you can tap on the little mountain icon in the bottom left corner here. Here you can choose from a wide variety of different solid colors. There's also different preloaded pictures here. You can choose to apply it to this page or all pages. And you can also, in the solid color area, you can add grid lines too if you want. Next, we'll go into the pen tool. So the pen tool is down here on the toolbar. Tap once to select, double tap, or tap again to bring up options. So you can choose different colors for your marker. These sliders control the thickness and transparency of the marker. Next, shapes and lines. So to select shapes and lines, it's 2 spots over down here. Tap once to select and tap again to get different options for different 2D shapes here, 3D shapes, and different lines and graphs. And like the pen tool, you can change the colors of the outline, the thickness, and the transparency. So go circle. Next, we'll go into the text editor. So that's right next to the shapes and lines, the little T here. If you select that, you can tap anywhere on the screen, and then you can type out text if you don't want to write it out. Next is the magic box. So that is on the toolbar also down here. Tap on that, and then if you go to Google Drive, you can open your drive, and you can open files directly from your drive onto the canvas. So I have a test file here. Select the file, hit import, and if you tap on it and hit this little lock here, unlock button, you can move this file, which is basically just like a screenshot of that Google Doc, and you can move that around onto your canvas. Also in the Magic Box, you can select YouTube videos, and you can insert YouTube videos directly onto the canvas. Unfortunately, you can't do full screen videos on here, but the video is still good, and you can drag it around and have this on, straight onto the canvas also. Next, we'll go into erase. So there are a few different types of erasers you can do. The default, if you select the eraser on the bottom toolbar, the default is spot erase, so you can just erase, different spots. You can also select or do select erase if you tap on the little lasso, and you can select areas that you want to erase. And then next to that, there's also the little trash can, which just erases everything that's currently on the screen. And say you do something like that, you want to undo your action, then you can hit the undo button here and redo there. So just like in Google Docs, if you make a mistake, go ahead and undo and redo that. Next, we'll go into the select tool. So as a demonstration, let's draw a little frowny face here. The select tool is a little cursor with a little outline box down the toolbar. You select that, you can draw an area around objects that you want to move around. So if I drag this smiley face around, you can also rotate it. You can select multiple objects or single objects. So then if I choose this little frowny face, I can turn this little frown upside down like that. Next, each board or each canvas is kind of like an infinite canvas. So if you run out of space, if you have a bunch of things on screen and you want more space, then select the hand icon on the bottom here. And with this, you can pinch and zoom like a smartphone, and then one finger drag over, and then you have more space to work with. And then you can also pinch and zoom and move over. And if you lose your spot, you can also tap again, and you get kind of like a bird's eye view of your canvas, and you can more easily see it. And finally, when you're done and you want to save, you can tap on the folder icon on the toolbar here and save your whiteboard. If you're logged in, you can select the Google Drive icon and save files directly to your Google Drive. And that's the same thing with opening. Tap on this icon here, and you can open files from your Google Drive. I'll go with the whiteboard. Yep.
Can you demonstrate when you are at that point where you change the audio output? Like if you want your ViewSonic to have audio, you know how you have to change on your computer?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Thank you.
When you're hard connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, we can't hear you.
Good now?
Yes, thank you.
Yep, sorry about that. So what I was saying, for the toolbar, this toolbar is available no matter what screen you're on. You could be wirelessly presenting, hardwired in, and this toolbar is available all the time. You can access it by tapping on the arrows on either the left side or the right side of the board here. And you have a back button, home button, app switcher, if you want to switch between like the whiteboard app and the browser app. There's a button for all apps, quick access for that, and also quick access to the whiteboard app. I think the one feature that you guys will use the most is the annotate feature. So that is on the toolbar, and then this little pencil icon. If you tap that, then it'll take a screenshot of what's currently being displayed, and then you can annotate or draw over whatever is on the screen. Next, if you tap on the 3 horizontal dots, there's a screen freeze button, this little screen with the snowflake on it. And that's like on your projector, the freeze button. It'll just take a screenshot or just freeze whatever's on the screen currently. Next is a spotlight, so that's a little flashlight here. This, if you tap on the gear, you can change the transparency of it and also the diameter of the circle. This is if you want to hide certain areas of the screen, you can drag this around and spotlight different things on the screen. Also in the toolbar, there is a stopwatch and a timer as well. Any questions with the toolbar? Nope. All right, next I'll go into document cameras. So for USB document cameras, you can plug the USB document camera directly into the board, into one of the USB ports in the bottom right corner of the display here. So you plug it in, an icon at the home screen, an icon on the bottom left corner called Cam 1 will appear. You can tap on that, and then your doc cam will display full screen on the board. As for VGA doc cams, those can be connected directly to the VGA port, which is located right under the USB ports here. They're kind of hard to get to, so if you have issues connecting those, feel free to reach out to your tech support specialist at your school. And we're trying to work to replace most of the VGA doc cameras out there. We have an order, I think, pending, and more on that later. All right, as far as the demo goes, I think that's pretty much it. So I'll stay up here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them.
So Joanna asked if current doc cams will work. So you might want to just...
Yeah, so if it's a VGA doc or a USB doc camera, the one with just a USB port or a plug that goes out of it, you can plug it directly into the USB port at the front right of the display. And then if it's a VGA one, you can plug that into the VGA port, which is located in the bottom right of the display. And if you have issues, like I said, reach out to your tech support specialist so they can help you connect that.
Let's see if any more questions yet, Matt. Let me double check here. And once again, any questions, just throw them into the chat here. The recording, Lindsay, this is Mike Frantini. The recording, we're going to send that out in an all-staff email or a dedicated email here within the next day. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to send that to everybody to be able to access the recording at any time moving forward. We're also going to send out a feedback form. If anybody's looking for any further assistance or anything we can do, we kind of want to gauge where everybody's at, how much more we can support you all. So be on the lookout for that as well in that email. We'll give it a few more minutes.
Yeah,
here, but I'm not,
ask away, guys.
I'm not
Don't be
seeing-
afraid. I'm all right with going over anything you guys
Matt's
want.
eager to answer some questions here. Nothing yet.
Matt, I just
Yeah.
plugged in my doc cam to the USB,
Yeah.
but nothing changed on my board.
If it doesn't pop up right away, try reseating it. Sometimes it needs another reseat.
Still not recognizing it there?
No, I've tried all three of them.
What kind of doc cam do you have?
It's the one with just the USB.
Can you put it up to the camera? Or the doc cam, sorry, not the board. That one should. We can look into it. Yeah, it should connect to it. Try restarting one more time. If not, then we can look into it.
I just
Okay,
wrote it
you-
down.
Yeah.
Nope.
That should work. If you want to go ahead and throw in a ticket, we'll have the tech support specialist take care of that right away for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
sorry
Sounds
about
good. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Joanna has a question. What is the option again to pair computer with the computer? Let's see. Whiteboard cast. Oh, do you want to go over how to wirelessly cast
that.
again?
Yeah, so to wirelessly cast at the home screen, open up the display app, which should be on the home screen already here. And then here you can see your display code and one-time password. And then you would go to, yeah, you go to this URL here, and that URL is also available in the CCSD21 links folder. It's labeled ViewSonic Screencast. And once you're at that page on your laptop, then you can enter in the display code and one-time password. And Joanna, if you want to, you can go to that website and you can cache your screen to our view board right now. You don't have to be in the same room to do it using an internet connection. So if you want to try it out, go ahead and connect to it.
And then she had a follow-up question. I'm not sure if that was just prior. How did you get the display app? But yeah, Joanna, so like Matt said, that's right on the home screen, or you can also get to it on the side menu that Matt outlined over there. So if you hit the arrow on the side.
Yeah, if you go to all apps here, which is the four squares, then it'll be right here.
Yeah, so there's several different locations you'll find that, but it should be pinned right to the home screen as well. Will the AverVision.cams connect to the board?
Those, I believe those are the VGA ones. So those, like I said, can be plugged into the VGA port at the bottom right of the display.
And like Matt mentioned, where we have an order in to replace all of those, so hopefully we'll have just 100% strictly USB document cameras shortly here, and you won't have to worry about that. But you can still use the VGA inputs. Yeah,
if you reach out to your tech support specialist, they'll know exactly where the port's kind of hard to get to, and we don't have VGA wall plates on the AV boxes anymore.
Matt, there's another question. Is there a way to display a full screen YouTube video?
Yes, so you can either, for YouTube videos, I would recommend connecting with the HDMI cable, but you can do the same, display YouTube videos by connecting wirelessly also.
Joanna, did we answer your question okay about as far as locating that display app? Are you able to see that?
Yeah, I guess so. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we'll give it another minute or two here. Any other questions, go ahead and submit them here.
How did you get to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Matt, can you just repeat the difference? Like, what's the benefit of going wireless versus using the HDMI cord?
Wireless is just useful. You can have a student, in the back of the class project their screen, from their seat without having to connect or futz around with dongles or HDMI cords. But if you're going to play videos, we recommend the HDMI cord just because there's less latency with a hardwire as opposed to a wireless connection.
Okay.
I think most teachers will probably use the wireless option just because it's more convenient.
Yeah,
But,
in addition to that, it allows you guys as teachers to be able to roam the room and not be tied to where it's tethered into the wall plate there.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Okay, anybody else?
I was attending the previous training, but I was a little late last week. So
Yeah,
then
no
this one I got since the beginning,
Mhm.
and it's a learning curve. I'll have to review everything. But I do remember last week, Matt, you mentioned that our equipment should have two cables, the HDMI and the USB. Mine does not have the USB.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the tech lady said that maybe will come later.
yes, USB, they're on backward right now. We're having trouble getting them from our vendor.
Okay.
So if you need one, if you really need one, we could check one out to you. We just didn't have enough to put in every kit. So if you need a USB cable, reach out to your tech support specialist. They'll be able to get you one. We just don't have enough to provide one to everyone at this time.
Well, would that cable be just for the dock camera, or it helps you with other things?
The USB touch cable, so if you have that, or I can demonstrate here. If you have both the HDMI and the USB cable connected, so I have a laptop in the back of the room connected, you'll be able to hold on 1 second. When it works, you'll be able to interact with the touchscreen here and interact with the laptop that's connected. So like this. So I can open up new tabs, drag tabs around.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that.
While we're using the laptop wirelessly, you're saying?
Wired. So if
Wired, okay.
if you have the HDMI cable connected and that USB cable to USB port 1, then you'll be able to interact with your laptop through the ViewSonic board.
Okay, I need both in order to interact with the board.
Yes. Mm-hmm. You
Okay.
can't, touch inputs won't work with the wireless connection, only with the wired connection.
Touch inputs will work directly with the board, just not to command the web browser within the laptop, if that makes sense. One thing I would say too is don't put too much pressure on yourselves to feel like you have to, if you're a little overwhelmed with this and it's a lot, which, we never want to overwhelm you guys and bring too much to you. I know anything new like this, especially with a year like this, is a lot to handle. But just simplify it if you can, and don't be worried about trying to master this. Just ease into it slow. Get started with, the main things to use these for are going to be to wirelessly cast, to display just like a projector, or to have students wirelessly cast, and all the other functions you can ease into it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to have to memorize and learn all this right out of the gate. There's plenty of time to learn this here. Let's see. That's another question here. Is there a way to extend the screen, show one window and work with another?
Not with the wireless. When you're casting wirelessly, you can extend your. Well, you can if you only present a window or a Chrome tab, kind of like in Google Meet, where you can only present a tab. Then you can just present that tab to the screen and then be free to work on other tabs or other windows without it being projected onto the screen. You can do the same thing with the hardwire if you go into Windows settings and extend your display.
Okay.
I have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
They don't move, right? Because they take a lot of space of the whiteboard. So there's no way to move up, move down.
No, we can't yet.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately not. There's, we tried to, when we installed these, tried to, get these in a place where most of the whiteboard was left. We moved some whiteboards around in areas where we could. Some areas it wasn't doable. Mm-hmm. But Yeah, the ones that you see that, like this one here with the brackets on the wall, those are fixed. We can adjust those up or down at the beginning of years, you know, so possibly next school year again, we can adjust those a little bit, but as far as left and right, they're not going to move that way.
Okay.
Do you have any whiteboard space?
Yeah, I have a little bit on the left and on the right.
Okay.
There's someone on a wheelchair using my room as well. So I was just wondering if there's a way to lower for her. If it was something that we could easily do up and down, left and right.
Yeah. I mean, it can be done, like I said, but we would have to, us or our operations crew would have to do that. If that's a problem, and you bring up a great point of having somebody in a wheelchair, and you would like it lowered, and you think it's going to benefit that student and not interfere, we can look into lowering that a little bit for you. So if you want to let us know on that.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll talk to her.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Quick question. I might have missed this. Sorry. So I am connected through the HDMI.
Oh, sorry, you broke
Uh oh.
you broke up a little bit there.
Sorry. Is this better?
Yes.
I think it might be my HDMI cord. So I'm connected through my HDMI cord. And on the screen, if I want to control touch on the internet, like on the web browser itself, is that possible? I thought I saw you doing that, but
Yeah, so I have it up on the screen now. So I have a laptop connected to the wall plate and with HDMI and then that USB cord. So if you have both of them connected,
I don't have the USB yet.
yes. And like I said, we have kind of a shortage of those right now. If you really need one, we could provide one. We just don't have enough to provide everyone at this point. But we should be getting, hopefully, the rest of them soon to be able to give to you.
Yeah, they should be in shortly.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, so if you have it connected, you can open up like a Jamboard and then be able to, it's basically just like a giant touchscreen for your laptop.
Okay. Or for now, without the USB, I can project.
Yes.
It still works. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, anybody else? Practice our wait time here for a little bit. Okay. Looks like we're down to about 17 people. How do we get students to project?
So that'd be the same thing. They can project wirelessly by opening up the display app and then going to this URL and then entering the information here. I think we can probably add this URL here to the Manage Bookmark folder for students, and they'll have quick access to it. But once they go to this URL here, myviewboard.com/display, they can enter in the display code and one-time password, and then be able to wirelessly cast to that display.
And you can control that as a teacher, so you don't have to open this up unless you want a student to actually wirelessly cast. So if you have a student that's going to cast, you would open this up and show them the screen, and then they'd be able to connect by going to the URL and putting in the display code and password.
And students can also connect with the HDMI cord too, with the HDMI cord and then dongle that should be in each tech kit.